Hi, I'm David King. Welcome to the CollabCast. As always, I'm joined by Katie Cusack, and today we have Jean-Remy Monnay.
It's great. It's fantastic.
Oh, did I screw it up?
No, you did.
Oh,
we're perfect. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You said it. He's been to Quebec.
French class really paid off. It's authentic. It's authentic Quebec. Thank you, Albany Academy, for that field trip. That prepared me for this moment. So we're really happy to have you. The Upstate, the Black Theatre Troupe of Upstate New York has quite a reputation. A lot of our guests have talked about it, mentioned your work, and wanted to work with you. And I know you've got a few productions coming up, but I was really hoping to talk about what brought you here from New York and why you decided this was something you were going to dedicate your time to.
Well, thank you, David and Kate. And I just want to say, every time I watch you guys, I'm watching you too. You guys are so cool and relaxed. I'm not saying it makes people feel so comfortable. I said, this is the kind of person I want to sit down and talk to. I always think
There's nothing awkward about us.
No,
nothing,
really. No, seriously. But when I sent the press release and David, emailed back and to meet, I said, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to be here. And, but thank you.
Thank you.
I'm from Haiti, so I've been performing acting since I was 9 years old in French and Creole, and I performed in Montreal when I was younger too. Younger, meaning not 8, maybe.
Yeah.
20 or something. So, and then I moved to New York in the 80s, and then I stopped doing theater for a while because I didn't speak the language. Didn't speak the language, and it was tough. It was like starting all over again. So I went to school and college in New York City, and then I decided I took off theater for a few years, and then I decided, you know what, I need to start my life again to do exactly what in my theater, to my dream and stuff. So I moved. I started working for the state in 1988, and I just retired last year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. After 30 years. But I moved up here from New York City in 97. And then I went back to Schenectady Community College and took performing arts. And I wanted to be more comfortable with the English language to perform. And then I started, my first big play at Hubbard Hall in Cambridge with Kevin Maguire.
Yeah.
He was the artistic director there. And then I stayed with him for a couple of years because I wasn't confident enough to be out there to perform because I'm still thinking nobody's going to cast me, with my accent and all stuff. So.
Sure.
But I didn't let that stop me, and then I went, and auditioned and started performing in every theater in the capital region in around 2000, 2001 and 2. And then by 2009, I was already all over the place in Newport, and I took every small part without trying to build, something, trying to build a resume, and also trying to prove to people who said I couldn't do it because of my accent. I wasn't going to get cast because of my accent. To prove to myself that I can do it.
You're like, hi, I speak 3 languages. So.
Exactly. Yes, and a little bit of Spanish, but I can read Spanish. But and then in 2009, I was having a lot of fun, and then realized that something is not right. Okay, there was 1, 2, 3 black actors, people of color in the local stage. So a friend of mine back in 2009 decided to start, the Soul Rebel Performance Troupe. And then back in 2009, and then, we started it so we can bring more people of color, work with them and bring them in. And in 2010, it was dissolved, and I started it again by myself, and still as the Soul Rebel Performance Troupe. Then to jump ahead, in 2000, 2 years ago, decided to change the name to the Black Theatre Troupe of Upstate New York. So by then, we've already worked with a lot of people of color, not just black, and also very diverse too, because we try to work with everybody, but mostly focusing on bringing more people of color in the local stage. And since then, we've worked with a lot of people, black actors and Hispanic actors who's out there now doing their things, who has never done theater before when they started with me. And things are much better. I'm not taking all the credit because the other group put a lot of people there, but with what we've been doing, that was the idea, to work with. I meet people every day. I hold their hand and show them how to do it, and I do believe that it's more diverse now, partly because of what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean, so what kind of reception did you first get from the places where you'd stage these plays, or what would you need to do to get support to actually put these works on? And was it a struggle at first, or I mean, have you found there was support from institutions, or?
I spent years when we started, and we weren't getting a lot of support, financial support. And we did, it was mostly, we weren't doing a lot of big shows. We started doing, reading, stage reading in libraries at the beginning, doing, variety shows.
Right.
We've worked with Sand Lake Center at the beginning and provide space for us in Avon Park. And then we work in small places and cafes. It was mostly with a few dollars I was getting from work. I was spending my own money all those years, for a long time. And until we started to really collaborate with, a bigger, organizations. I work with Siena College and Sage College and Schenectady Community College. And, but that's mostly, we do shows with little that we make from each the event, and then we save that for the next show. So it wasn't until recently we started, getting, some grant and small grant for a summer production we did this past summer, Yours for the Oppressed, with work with Siena College and the Underground Railroad. And then now we have people now, grant writers that's helping us.
Yeah.
But until now, and we haven't received, any kind of help from anybody.
Right.
But I didn't want to give up, because I say, okay, this is the dream. I'm doing it for a reason, because things got to change.
Yeah.
The stage has to be more colorful. That's what I always say.
Like reflective of
right.
people who you want to be coming to see these shows.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then I wasn't out there looking for just, people of color to be on stage, but I was out there every day to talk to people, come to support, and because the audience, most time, when you see a show, even if it's an all-black show, 95% of the audience is white. So we need to educate other people of color to be out, come see plays. I mean, they come out. If Tyler Perry comes here, they all come out. So they need to support, us that's trying to make something better.
Sure, like smaller theaters and becoming familiar with like small stage things that aren't necessarily people who are going to be selling out like the Times Union or something.
Right, yeah.
Which is like a huge problem for everyone in like so many art forms. But yeah, I mean, but it's hard to make people understand like that moment when you get there and you're experiencing something on that small scale, and you're like with this community, and it feels like way more powerful than you would feel when you're like in an arena seeing somebody that's so far away. Like, how do you communicate that to someone, that it's going to be so much more fun for them?
Right, exactly. And I'm saying all that, I have to say it is getting better too. Since we've been doing more shows in Albany, and our audience is getting bigger, more diverse. More people are coming out, and but it takes time.
Yeah.
And I'm not going anywhere. I retired. I'm doing this full time, and I'm out every day. Yeah. Trying to get the right people to work with, other producers and directors, and so.
Yeah.
one of the this issue just hit the stands. Go get it. Has a feature about sort of the wealth of small theater in the area, and looks at sort of how it sustains itself and how this area supports so many small theaters or troops at least.
Right.
What's your thought on that? I mean, there's a lot of theater in the area. I mean, obviously, it's a wide geographic area that the capital region encompasses. But is it supportive? Are you able to work together, or do you find yourself sort of as an island doing your own thing? Is it the same pool of people that you're able to work with? Or
no, actually, especially me. Okay, from the beginning, I was out to work with the community, different theaters and different organizations. I'm not by myself. We're not by myself. We work with Sand Lake. We work with Sage College. Call us, collaborate. Right. We work with Schenectady Civics and we also work with non-theater organization every year, like the PLS. It's an organization, Prisoners Legal Services of New York, and I work with them once a month. They get to work from incarcerated individuals, written materials, there's a certain theme every year, and I get actors to perform those work. Yeah. And I think for me personally, we get a lot of support from the other theaters and locally. I mean, you have Confetti Stage reach out to me to direct a show for them for Black History Month, which is coming up in December. So, we do get, I don't know, I can't talk for other groups, but for me, I know that it's been good working with the different communities. And no, we have auditions for when we're doing shows. It's not a group of people to do everything. Right. So because we have to do that, working with new actors. I meet people every day who've never done theater before. They say, "Oh, I'd like to be part of it," and whether to be in the crew to help the sound and music, to the costumes but I meet people every day and I work with them and I work with them to get the experience. So it's every show, just like any regular community theater, we have bringing new actors. Yeah.
I mean, for people who want to kind of get to know who you are as like a troupe, I mean, how many people do you kind of keep track of? Are people kind of like coming in and out for shows, or is there kind of a general group of people who make up like the central team of the troupe?
No, we have people coming in and out. Okay. Yeah, we have new people. I mean, I'm talking to you right now. Yeah. If after the show you say you're interested, and then next thing I know, you could be on the next play. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we have new people all the time. But of course, a lot of the older people who started with us come back all the time. Yeah. We cycle. Sometimes I precast shows depending on the show because it's still hard to find as much as the capital region, the upstate New York, get better now. There's more people of color right now, but we still have a way to go. But many times if I can't cast a show, even through audition, I make a phone call to people I've worked before, and they're always really very happy to come back. Yeah. Yeah. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Is that because of the experience in working with you all as a team, or like the stories that you're telling? I mean, what do you think it is that brings people back specifically to you guys?
I always make sure whenever I cast a show, I don't treat actors like actors. I treat actors like a friend, a brother, a sister, like family. Before I cast a show, I always make sure I party with my actors. Yeah. I'm saying, let's be friends, let's be family. If we're rehearsing, things are not going well, I say, we're not rehearsing today. Come to my house. I'll cook and let's get together. Yeah. Okay. And then, we're friends. If I'm directing the show, I don't want to be a director. I want to say, let's work together and get it done. So if I'm an actor, I'm going to want to come back all the time. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because, you feel home. You feel like family. So, and that's
like invested in as well.
Right. Yeah. So, I can tell you now, unless somebody's not available, people have worked before, black, white, or Hispanic, any race, and I can, call them and say, hey, are you available? I have a part for you. I'd like you to be part of it or something. They usually pretty glad to come back and to work with me. And I respect people. I like to work with people who respect themselves, respect other people, and so it could be a team and family.
Yeah. Sounds like a really good feeling.
Yeah, definitely it is. Yeah.
So you've got the Niceties coming up, and tell us a little bit about the preparation for a show, what it might be like before you put it on, and why are you doing this?
Well, most shows we do, unlike other community theater, we put on any play as long as it's a comedy or it's a story. It's fun to play, but I do meaningful work. Plays that educate people. Plays about our stories. Struggles. With the people of color and racisms and injustice and stuff and or any family plays and things that when you go you learn something that they don't teach you in school. Okay. And the Niceties, it's when you sit down, you watch that it's a 2-character play, that you're going to learn so much from that, but just having the two people having the conversation about American Revolution, slavery and racism, and it is so deep, so powerful. When you sit there, you're gonna want to be part of it. So that's I like to do plays like this. We have a play coming up called Camp Logan. It's about it's written by a woman from Texas, and this is a stories. I don't know if you can Google the Houston riot in 1917, where there was black soldiers in Houston, Texas, that was there on training to go to the war in 1917. And then they were being harassed by local white, and there was a riot, and then they ended up hanging 20 black soldiers. So this is stories that you never heard of, and the play is written based on that.
Not to jump too far away from this, but one of the best shows I think of the last year was Watchmen, which was based on the Tulsa. The Greenwood
massacre. I have a play written by the same woman. I have that play right now, and I might be going to New York City to see a reading of it. I'm planning to do that play. I never see Watchmen. Somebody mentioned that they talk about it there. Well, this is the story you don't hear.
Well, exactly. And I think that if it does anything, it's that it brings that moment in history back into the public consciousness, even though it might not. Probably was never there for most people. And some people might think it's fiction because of how disturbing and horrible and but it's.
Yeah, this is the kind of story that I like to bring, to bring out, to educate people. And at the same time, you educate people, whether it's about racism, whatever it is, but positive things, and then usually have a talk back. And I need to start watching Watchmen. It's true because everybody tell me about it. So
I know. He got me watching it.
There's one episode in particular that I thought was just absolutely the most profound, subversive, and challenging episode of television I've seen in a long time. The whole show itself is pretty decent, but that one episode really does a lot to comment on racial violence in history. And
I mean, they just for simple accusation, of the black teen, and they ended up burning. It was it used to be called. It was such a rich town, business owned by blacks. They used to call it the Black Wall Street. They burned down the whole town and killed, people, and burned down the whole town. Okay, and
So the premise is essentially that. It sort of parallels how Superman is a guy who leaves his is shipped away from his burning planet and then becomes a savior, and in the way that this like it sort of says that the only truly heroic and super heroic sort of person that could be alive is a black person who's suffered these immense and seen their people destroyed, and then has to deal with this and constantly is tested by the system that doesn't and it, I thought it was profound that mainstream television could put forward.
I'm glad you saw that. I was hoping if they, especially since they hide those stories, they tell you that, if more television will put that out there, and I think, it's even better than training it in school, because
definitely.
So I don't know how many times I do stories that a play about those kind of stories that actors, black actors and whites, and come to me and say, thank you for bringing these stories up. They never heard of it.
Absolutely.
Our area, and obviously you've done work around the history of the area, but the underground and we have an amazing amount of history relating to that and helping slaves escape and
I just saw Harriet
abolition.
Last night.
Oh, did you?
I'd like to see that.
I've heard mixed reviews. What'd you think?
I had a little issue, bit. The story itself is okay, but the story itself is great, but there's a lot of things. I said, no, that can't be real.
Right.
That can't be real. And I'm pretty sure too. The other thing was kind of, there's one of the slave catchers. Also, I don't know. I always have a problem with that. One of them is a black man. I don't want to, since you haven't seen it. I say, okay, did that really happen?
Yeah.
But then again, I'm thinking this might be possible, because if you're a slave yourself and then the master say, I'm giving you $300 to bring, and I can see how somebody, if you want to betray their own, just like Jesus and his disciple, and then somebody did, betrayed him. But I think it was kind of, how do I describe that? Too clean for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you all agree. I think it was kind of too clean for me
Well, I think there is that, this is the other side of that. There is this thing now where if you're going to get any movie made, it has to have some sort of like heroic, idealist sort of thing, because they know people want heroes, because that's what sells at the box office. So if it's too complicated, they don't think people are going to follow. Or they,
and I do understand, they have to make it because you got to look good. I mean, they tell you, the story. That's what happened.
Right.
But if you,
it's embellished.
They have to do that. And I kind of like that myself, because I'm one of those people, and I like a good ending. If you are being mistreated and abused, and then at the end you ended up, the killer, the abuser got away, nothing happened to them. Say no.
So
that's why for a hero movie to me, because I like what she did at the end, where almost at the end, where the main person that was after her, she didn't kill him. Okay, she just shot him and leave him in the desert somewhere, and teach him a lesson to learn. And people are not meant to own other people. I think that's the line. He told her, she told him at the end. And then that's something I will do. I'm one of I like to educate more than being mad at somebody. If somebody do something to me and I figure it's because you're ignorant, because you don't know any better, I'd rather sit down with you and teach you and done punching you. Really. But if I'm watching a movie, I like a good hero movie. You get the good revenge at the end too. But I will definitely, there's some action in there too, and then some good story you need to learn, because I've done many plays about Harriet Tubman myself.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, so I needed to say.
You need to do some comparison.
Right, yeah.
No, but it's good that you're using your plays to really show these kinds of stories, and also, like, I'm sure in those cases the talkbacks are super valuable as well. Very. Sometimes it's even I'm not saying it's even better, but it's as good as the show, the talkback, because I'm saying that myself. I'm doing it to educate people. I learned most of my history through theater, because I do a lot of research, and I'm one of those people who would like to
against injustice and also want to fight it, and but I do it through my theater. And myself, if I choose a play, I know I have to do a lot of research, so I learn it. I knew Haitian history, but when I came here, I didn't know a lot about American history.
Right.
So I didn't learn a lot of it in school. So I learn it and teach people through theater, and so it's very important.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's clearly been something that has been a part of your life since you were really young, so it's like resonates.
Part of my life since I was young, and also being a victim through the Haitian, the baby dog, Papa Dog dictatorship in Haiti. I lived through that.
Wow.
Okay, I lived through that. It wasn't racism, but it was, injustice and oppression. So I lived through that, and from the time I was a child, I was arrested myself, and for nothing, just because I was speaking my mind as a child, as a younger girl, but I was lucky. I had people who had connection, had to get me out, and until I came here to meet my parents, and coming here, and now it was a different kind of struggle that I had to deal with racisms and learning a new language so it hasn't been easy. So when I started working for the state for 30 years, and then evening part-time I was doing theater, and now I retired doing it full-time, and I'm more now I have more energy now, more motivation now to continue doing it. It's personal and personal, and I wanted to use that to train, to educate, to bring it out there. Yeah. And it will help in a little. So,
yeah.
And obviously you have a lineup for some time now, but how would you suggest folks get involved? Just show up for an audition?
Yes. We're doing audition more and more now. At the beginning, we weren't doing a lot of audition because the kind of play that we do, I was meeting people every day, and we were doing audition. People weren't coming out from the beginning, mainly because if I'm doing a play for people of color, for Black people and Hispanic, and then they don't have the experience, they've never been through an audition before, a lot of them are really get intimidated.
Absolutely.
I'm not an actor, I've never done it, I'm not going to go out. So I was doing a lot of, calling people, just cast people, pre-cast people. I talk to you. I don't believe in audition, especially with people who don't have a lot of experience. Because how are you going to put somebody up there to audition them when,
Go.
You know what I'm saying? So no, my audition for me, let's sit down and have a conversation, okay? And then find out who, your personality, who you are, the kind of person you are, and learn about you. And I can easily tell, okay, what I can put you in, by just, get to know you. And because I don't care if somebody's very talented also, but if you don't have a great personality, I don't want to work with you. I'd rather work with somebody with a great personality, less talent, less experience. I can work with you. Yeah. So, but now that it's different now, there's more, actors out there. So we have our website, the Black Theatre Troupe of Upstate New York. Facebook, we'll be posting there for auditions, and then we're going to be using the cap disc things. And So Patrick White directed a show for a few months ago. Ms. Martha Washington, and there was auditions. A lot of people came out, and a lot of them are actors that we worked with before. And Aaron Moore was in your show recently, was in it. It was great. I love Aaron. So it's getting better. People coming out now because we have more people who don't mind coming to audition. But if you don't have the experience, and we have audition, if you're shy, you're afraid, just call me and said, I'd like to be part of it, but I don't like to audition. I can talk.
If you don't know where to start.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll work with you. You don't need to come to audition if you're afraid, because I don't want to do that to people.
Yeah.
Okay, just come and we'll sit down and talk, and then, we'll do something.
I bolted my theater class in college. Like, now do a mirror face with your partner. And I'm like, no, I can't do that to anyone.
Yeah, someone mentioned that, the mirror things. Yeah. Yeah, so, I make it comfortable for people, and let's just talk. I'm getting called, every day, on email every day, from parents who the child want to be part of this, and I say, okay, let's get together. Or I invite them, come watch rehearsal.
Yeah.
Okay, if you've never done it before, sometime I say, okay, start going out in the local theater community and see some plays, and bring your child to see plays. It's very important. It's, and you can't ask them to play soccer if they never, you've never seen a soccer game on television or something, or knows about it. So start taking them out, and I invite them, come watch rehearsal when I'm having rehearsal, or I meet with them, have coffee somewhere, and it's been really good, especially since I retired. A lot of doors have opened up, giving more time to focus on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And getting people sending me plays from all over, from London. They know what we do.
Excellent.
And yeah.
And where should what's the schedule? Where can people see the niceties?
The niceties. I'm so excited about this play. I have two great actors, Monnay Thompson and Christina Reeves, and it's a white professor, and in her early 60s, but Christina's nowhere close to 60, of course not. And a black student in the professor's office, talking about the American. Talking about a sample project, her paper, and then the whole thing turns so deep into American Revolution, slavery, and racism. It's really powerful. That's going to be at Siena College, and January 23rd, and 4 performances: the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Nice.
At the Foy Hall Theater, at Siena College. And you have to go on their website. It's posting on Facebook and on our website and the Siena website. And people, can just show up too.
Right.
Because that happened a lot, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people was not, because there's no phone number you can call. It's only a link, click to make reservation.
Okay.
But I know a lot of people usually just show up, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, people come out and it's full.
Yeah.
And we do well, yeah. So.
And what do you expect for the rest of the year? Do you have a lineup yet? Do you have a...
Yes. I'm directing the Niceties, and then we're also working with Sage College of Albany. We're doing a stage reading for Black History Month. It's only one performance, February 7.
Oh, it's my birthday.
Oh!
It's okay.
Really?
I don't know why I had to say that.
Yeah. No, but it's your birthday, of course, you see. You heard everybody. Okay.
You heard it here first.
Mail gifts to Proctor.
That's right.
February 7 at Sage of Albany. We're doing a stage reading of also another play that's stories that they don't really tell you about it. It's called The Meeting. The Meeting. It's a sort of Malcolm X meeting with Martin Luther King.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's powerful. It's tough. So we're doing a stage reading of that in February, and then a full production of it in June at the Albany. And at the Albany Museum Institute of Art in Washington Ave. So they actually reach out to me. They say, I've been following you. I watch what you do. I'd like to host one of your shows. So we're doing 4 performances there.
Excellent.
But our big production will be Camp Logan that I mentioned earlier. Will be the first 2 weekends of April, and then so we're busy. We have Niceties, and then. And the meeting in February, and Camp Logan in April, and then the meeting again in June. And I'm directing the Mountaintop for not with the Black Theatre Troupe. The Mountaintop with a Confetti Stage.
Nice.
That's going to be the last February for Black History Month, February 28, 29, and March 1st. And I don't know if you know the story, Mountaintop, about Martin Luther King. It's like the day before he died, and we'll tell you about that story. It's really also powerful stuff. So so I really don't have time to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I mean, for taking the time to talk to us, because it's amazing that you're able to.
Right. No,
I don't know what I'm doing in June.
It's hard not. I can't. I really, because of, not only when I'm not directing, I'm producing. Okay, and I run the theater company. We have a board, and also because since I retired now, and I just recently formed a production team, a Black Theatre Troupe production team. So a total of 10 people. We just had our first meeting. So so I can take, if a producer's, you're producing a show and something happened and you go away or something happened, you get sick, the show can move on because we have enough people in the production team to help. So, which is going to help me a lot. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much. It was a real pleasure. And, I know we're going to be in touch.
Yeah.
And everyone should check out The Niceties.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And, I mean, I know a lot of folks we've talked to have talked about the work you've put in, and there are a lot of people that respect what you've done. So if people want to get involved, we suggest they reach out, because it sounds like you're amenable.
I want to thank those people too. Like I said, I've seen many of them in your show here, and then I love them, and we work together, and they come back, and it's not just, especially if you're not getting paid, but you have to have fun with it, and I try to do all that, and treat you like family and friends, and which is why when we work with new actors, people come and see you on stage, and you think you've been doing it for 40 years, 20 years, but you just started last week.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that,
you feel comfortable.
You feel comfortable, and if you feel comfortable, you're gonna
do your
be
best
comfortable.
work.
Do your best work.
Excellent. Right.
Thank you so much.
I hope to see you February 7th on your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.